24-year-old Australian woman set friend on fire for making misogynistic remark. Scroll down. You guys might have seen this. That's good. Keep it there. An Australian woman allegedly lit her longtime friend on fire because he made a misogynistic remark during a wild night of partying. A court heard earlier this month. Corby, 24, pleaded guilty in court to the arson attack on Jake Loader, 23, saying she felt overwhelmed by his antagonistic behavior throughout the night before she was finally set off by a sexist remark he made during a house party in New South Wales last year. According to the ABC, scroll down a little bit, Loader told her she should... So the alleged misogynistic comment was she should stay in the kitchen making scones if she couldn't handle drinking with the boys, which sent the 24-year-old into a rage. The court heard, according to the outlet, she grabbed a gallon of gasoline from the garage and doused the guy with the flammable substance, waving a lighter at him threateningly. Go on, do it. That's a kind of a stupid thing to say. It's like these... Look, I don't condone violence, but if somebody's like threatening you with a gun, you probably shouldn't say, go shoot me, pussy. Like, you probably shouldn't taunt or provoke somebody who's got, who's threatening physical violence. What are you going to do? Shoot me? And then
Not
they get...
in the moment.
Look, you shouldn't do it, but come on. All right. He was drunk, though, and he had consumed nose candy, she confessed. Scroll down. Wappily then touched him with the lighter, setting him ablaze. Loader sustained burns to 50% of his body and had some of his sweat glands burned off. He was put in a medically induced coma for 8 days after the attack, according to a victim impact statement read in court. He required 10 operations and spent 74 days in a burn unit at a Melbourne hospital, according to the statement. Scroll down a bit. Suffered burns. The friend, he can't step outside because of the damage. She had been, I guess, drinking and taking substances. She claimed she was pushed to the edge due to his misogynistic comments. Tried to wrestle with her? The fuck? And was being antagonistic throughout the night. She feels horrible, remorseful. Scroll down. All right. Scroll down. I find it very hard to believe the injuries that were caused was from my doing. I mean, you lit the dude on fire. She pleaded guilty to one charge of burning or maiming by using corrosive fluid. So she's back in court this month for sentencing. So I want to go around the table on this, get the panel's reaction. So the allegations here are he was making, throughout the course of the night, various misogynistic comments, get back in the kitchen, something like that. And then she lit him on fire. Do you think that's inappropriate? Think it's a fair response, starting with you, going around the table?
I think if he's less misogynistic now, it's probably a net positive. But if he's not, I'd say it's a bit much.
What's a bit much?
Extreme for her to light him on fire.
Wait, so just to be clear, a man was nearly burned to death, and your knee-jerk initial reaction is, well, if he's a bit less misogynistic.
Net positive, though, not.
That's the. Wait, so when you say net positive in totality.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, what she did was really awful, and like he's gonna have to suffer for the rest of his life because of it. But if like his casual misogyny is lessened,
it's a net
positive, yeah.
What's the math? What's the calculus on it being a net positive?
Let's say if he just stayed like super misogynistic and like got his friends together and they were all kind of like that, then they're kind of causing a lot of hell on women. Okay. If he's less misogynistic now and he's not getting all his guys together to say things about women, it doesn't affect.
I see. So what you're saying is that serious bodily...
He's like a martyr, if anything.
So what you're saying is serious bodily injuries, so long as within your purview, there's a... wait, just to be clear, I can't even wrap my head around the comment you've just made, but violent crime not as bad, or sorry, violent crime more bad than misogynistic joke.
Not necessarily. I think it's more nuanced, I'd say.
Explain the nuance.
Because if you're constantly talking bad about women in that way,
Sure.
or saying that women, should stick to these sort of roles, it perpetuates in the long term kind of violence against women in general on a grand scale. But also, just to be frank, I was kind of kidding, and it is wrong of her to have done that.
Well, I'm a bit confused. You just said that there was a nuance.
It's wrong that she did. Okay.
No. I'm saying hold on to her. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think in this specific situation, I'm not saying everyone should light men on fire because that would make the world better. I'm just saying in this instance, if it happened to make him less misogynistic, it's probably a net positive.
Do you know what that?
But I'm not encouraging violence against men.
Right. So what you're saying is, yes, it was bad that he got lit on fire.
Yes.
What she did was wrong. But if the outcome is that he's now less allegedly misogynistic, that it was actually worth it that she burned him. Because in order for your statement to be true, that it's a net positive, it would have to indicate that it's worth it, right? If it's a net positive.
Yeah,
Would you kill Hitler, baby? Baby Hitler, excuse me?
This is too deep of a question.
If you could time travel back in time, would you kill baby Hitler? Because it would be a net positive, right? In your worldview.
Yeah.
So you would.
I don't have a definite answer on that, but I do denounce the genocide of the Jewish people.
Okay, that's not really answering my question, though. So the hypothetical.
I don't know, because what would happen if I killed baby Hitler and then, Mussolini did something even more extreme and crazy? I don't know.
The Italian.
The butterfly effect.
Yeah, I don't know the butterfly effect, but I would say if the only difference there is that Hitler didn't exist and then, the concentration camps didn't happen.
So what's your, you did, I don't know if you're walking back your position a little bit, doing a Maud and Bailey, but you said that you're joking. Please be more specific, though, because you're saying there's nuance to the situation. So again, is her act justified because of the net positive? Assuming assuming he's going to be less misogynistic now, is it justified to some degree?
I'd say no, violence is not ever justifiable.
But you did say that the net
Well,
positive,
yeah, if we're talking about long-term effects on what potentially his statements and actions could have caused against multitudes of women, more than just one person.
And is this your subjective opinion, or you think objectively?
Obviously. If it was objective, I think that would mean that if we just burned everyone who said that, then the world would be better. But I don't necessarily think that's the case.
Okay. And so what if I had a position that feminist rhetoric is damaging, and there was a movement to basically light on fire every single feminist, and if I could prove to you, if I could demonstrate that it would clearly be a net positive on society to burn feminists, you would then be in favor of that too.
If that were the case and you could prove that, then I guess technically sure, and sure.
Okay, so as long as it's a net positive.
But I'm anti-violence, and I don't think this on a grand scale would actually.
Well, you yourself wouldn't perform or participate in said violence, but if other people could
I still don't
violence,
agree. Yeah, I don't want anyone to be lit on fire. I was just saying.
Okay.
It's potentially less harmful what she did compared to what potentially, but this is all just.
Sure. Why don't I ask you this? So you're a feminist, right?
Sure, if you want to classify it that way.
Well, are you not a feminist?
Probably not in your definition. I care for gender liberation, so.
Gender, what's that?
Just equality and equity for everyone, no matter your gender identity.
So you think feminism is not about gender equality?
Well,
what is
feminism historically, if we are talking about first wave, second wave, third wave, had super specific like reason and outcome, like gaining the right to vote and owning banks and property and stuff like that, or their own bank account. I think now we're in a different situation where we have, in a lot of ways, equal rights legally, but I think socially, women and men suffer in the structure that we have right now. So I'm pro gender liberation, so for everyone.
Okay. I think some people, and what do you think about, are you in favor of deconstructing or dismantling the patriarchy?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I would consider you a feminist then.
Okay.
I had a good follow-up question on this. Shoot, it's evading me though. I'm going to think about it. We'll come back to you, your reaction to that article.